more you know about how narcotic substances work and the effect they can have on your body and mind, the more you'll be able to protect yourself against them. It's Drug Awareness Month, and on this edition of Jamaica Magazine, we'll tell you of the dangers of smoking. Hello, I'm Carrie Ann Smith, encouraging all of us to play our part to help someone affected by drug abuse. Also in our program, valuable information on parenting, plus a secure way to grow your crops. All that and much more right after the news of the day. Stay with us. The Jamaica Logistics Hub.
The Jamaica Logistics Hub.
The Jamaica Logistics Hub. A topical subject on the minds of many Jamaicans. What exactly is the Jamaica Logistics Hub initiative?
Logistics is the process by which businesses manage the flow of goods, services, people, information, energy, and other resources through the entire supply chain from source to end users.
The various components of the hub will allow Jamaica to capitalize on the increased trade expected to flow through the region when the Panama Canal expansion is completed in 2016.
We are not saying by that all of the project would have been finished. We are saying that there is a core set of projects and programs that must be implemented.
The Jamaica Logistics Hub, a plan in action to increase trade and grow the economy.
Good day, I'm Samantha Allen, and this is your GIS News for Thursday, November 7. Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller remains on a mission to woo investors to Jamaica. Mrs. Simpson Miller shared the myriad of investment opportunities available locally during meetings with the Japanese business interests as she continued her three-day working visit to the Asian nation. On Wednesday, the Prime Minister promoted Jamaican coffee and tourism during her meetings with the Yushima Coffee Company and the Japan Association of Travel Agents. And at a reception hosted by the Jamaican Embassy in Tokyo Thursday, the Prime Minister celebrated the successful outcome of her first visit to Japan.
Our collaboration has translated into a number of projects and programs in the areas of trade, economic, and technical cooperation. These programs have complemented our national development goals, bringing significant benefits to the peoples of Jamaica and Japan.
Prime Minister Simpson Miller's working visit to the Asian powerhouse concludes Friday when she will participate in a Latin American and Caribbean business forum being staged by the Japanese government and the Inter-American Development Bank.
At the forum, we will share views on the future of Japan, Latin America, and the Caribbean relations and discuss the outlook for increased trade and investment flows.
Meanwhile, Jamaica is already taking advantage of the technological cooperation agreement signed with Japan on Tuesday. On Wednesday, Minister of Science, Technology, Energy and Mining Philip Paulwell met with Japanese State Minister in the Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry, Midori Matsushima. The two discussed ways in which their respective countries could benefit from technological advancements in the energy sector. The House of Representatives has passed the amended Defamation Act 2013, replacing the decades-old slander and libel laws. The act abolishes the distinction between libel and slander and instead establishes a single cause of action known as defamation. Among its objectives is the creation of a more equitable balance in the resolution of cases.
These are to provide fair and effective remedies for persons whose reputations have been harmed by the publication of defamatory matter. It also provides for speedy, non-litigious methods of resolving disputes concerning the publication of defamatory matter, and it ensures that the law of defamation does not place unreasonable limits on the freedom of expression.
The Defamation Act also seeks to abolish the law related to criminal libel and institute a legal limit of 2 years within which a lawsuit for defamation can be filed instead of the previous 6 years. It also prevents a media entity from being liable if it innocently disseminates information from a reputable source. The Industry Ministry, through the Jamaica Business Development Corporation, will be embarking on an island-wide entrepreneurship program. State Minister Sharon Folks Abrams says it's imperative that the agency take its entrepreneurship workshop into communities, as the development of businesses is what will spur economic growth.
We plan to go through the island of Jamaica starting next year, and we're going to train entrepreneurs throughout Jamaica. And JBDC has worked with me in my constituency to do that. And we trained 80 new entrepreneurs.
The National College for Educational Leadership, NCEL, will be giving educators an opportunity to qualify themselves to serve as school principals. NCEL will be offering training through its Aspiring Principals program, which begins in January 2014. The Education Ministry is providing 40 full scholarships to accommodate persons who are not yet school principals but are interested in learning the tools of the trade. Application forms for the 15 to 18-month program can be found on the Ministry's website, moe.gov.jm, or at regional offices across the island. And finally, Jamaicans are being encouraged to embrace rehabilitated inmates as they rejoin society. The call came from Commissioner of Corrections, Javine Bent, as the department drew the curtains down on Corrections Week 2013 with a sports day and exhibition.
I'm really appealing to Jamaica that those who really are remorseful and they have served their time, and so to give them a chance.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Samantha Allen. Thanks for watching.
How well do you know your child? What he or she likes or dislikes? Favorite food or color? How about who their friends are? Make the time. Get to know your child. It helps to build their relationship. Makes it easy to keep them safe, and it helps their development process.
Parenting is not an easy task, but understanding the role and applying the best practices can result in good parenting. This process involves promoting and supporting the physical, emotional, social, and intellectual development of a child from infancy to adulthood. Our next feature speaks to some practical tips that will help you be a better parent.
The children are our future. As such, proper parenting is very important. Being a good parent means creating a loving, safe environment for your children to grow, from newborn to toddler to adolescence right through to the teenage years. Different parenting skills are needed for each stage, but at all times your child will depend on you. Children at the early childhood level can be a handful, as they need to be kept active and occupied. They usually require a greater amount of stimulation and activity than older children. When a child starts attending high school, parents may have to struggle with issues such as independence and sexuality.
They no longer want to be so linked to home and mommy, so they're trying to flex their muscles. And so we have conflicts at the secondary level in terms of parent-child relationship. And what do we say to our parents at this stage? We want to say to them, encourage your children, but don't push them. We want to say, respect your children, respect their individuality, respect their privacy. We want to say, show them a lot of respect and don't humiliate them. We want to say to our parents, practice patience with them, because what you practice with them, they will in turn practice on others.
Remembering those early days may provide the encouragement you need during the times when being a parent seems more of a challenge than an adventure. Here are some of the things you can do to help alleviate the stressful situations you may experience as a parent. Talk over difficult choices with people you trust, or ask for professional advice from your child's school nurse, guidance counselor, or pediatrician. You may also contact a professional organization such as the National Parent Teachers Association, Parenting Partners, or the Coalition for Better Parenting. Attend parenting forums, conferences, and seminars. Advice and suggestions for good parenting are usually offered at these functions. Reading books on parenting or conducting internet research may also prove to be helpful. Seek out parents with children the same age as yours. You will find that you are not alone, and sometimes the challenges you face are not unique. Playgroups and parenting groups are a good place to meet others. Trust your instincts. Don't feel you have to take advice that feels wrong for you and your family. Talking to others may help, but you should also learn to trust your own judgment. Loving your child is one of the most important things you can do. However, you will also have to make sacrifices to ensure his or her comfort and development. As a parent, you will also have to make decisions about the best way to raise your child. As a parent, showing respect to your child is very important. You have to give respect in order to receive it. It is important to let the child know that you are in control. However, you should not suppress his or her views, opinions, or ideas, nor be disrespectful.
Handle our children delicately and yet firmly. We want to say, give your children space, but give them boundaries. Because when they have boundaries, they begin to know I am important. If we say, do all you want, be free, then they will begin to think, Mom doesn't care. But when a boundary is set up, they say, yeah. Mind you, they will be bucking the boundary every time, making an effort to see if you will move the boundary. But the boundary must remain. And of course, as they develop, the boundary needs to shift.
Talking with your children is also very important in trying to build good parental relationships. It will contribute to your child's personal development and assist with solving problems that he or she may face from time to time.
Listen to your children. Hear what they're saying and hear what they're not saying. Watch their body language. Observe them. And when you see something that needs to be addressed, gently address it, not aggressively and overbearingly. Communication is so valuable. Let's learn to communicate, and let's encourage our children to understand what communication is all about.
Parents should try to set good examples for children to follow, because children tend to imitate the deportment and behavior of their parents. In reprimanding children, it is important to explain to your child what he or she has done wrong. Do not tell your child that he is a bad person, and always be careful of the tone and body language you use. And remember, when correcting your child, flogging is not always the right course of action. There is no one right way to parent, and no perfect parent who has all the answers. There are, however, some guiding rules. All children need love and affection. All children need to be kept safe and given limits on how they act. Children need to be warm, fed, clothed, and have the opportunity to learn. Remember, when you are confident and positive, your children will be more likely to feel that way too.
As individuals, we are driven by motivation to accomplish certain goals we set for ourselves. For example, a higher education which will enable us to earn more. But do you think persons need to be motivated to be better parents?
Many things motivate me, and I think having a son who is devoted to school and tries hard, I think that's the greatest motivation, to see the results.
Just to make sure that you prepare a proper future for your children.
To honor my father and then to set an example for my children.
I think it's all about how I grew up and how my parents treated me. They took care of me. They made sure I was well educated in terms of having a future for myself. So obviously I want that for my son.
To have confidence and trust in my children.
I teach them, I talk to them about obedience and respecting others, and when I see it played out in them and I get the results, it motivates me to be better.
Nutritious food, succulent dishes, superior workmanship, and excellent service. Jamaica is on the go. Let's grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Let's harness the indomitable spirit of our most valued resource, our people. Let's support our local businesses. After all, buying Jamaican means building Jamaica.
Safeguarding crops from the dangers of some weather conditions and insects can best be done through greenhouse farming, better known as protected agriculture. Two main benefits of this enclosed method are high production output and grade A quality produce. That's because you control the environment, customizing it to suit the crop being grown. Here's more.
All this can be a thing of the past with the implementation of protected agriculture. There is nothing more pleasing to a farmer than to see the beauty of his crops. A few years ago, farmers in Jamaica were affected to a great extent by the tomato yellowleaf curl virus, commonly known as the Jerry curl virus. This resulted in severe crop loss. But with the aid of protected agriculture, farmers now have the option of growing plants in a more controlled environment. This structure, known as a greenhouse, offers a way to protect plants from the external environment risks, such as pest and disease infestation or severe weather conditions.
Having them in protected agriculture setting, we can somewhat shift our climate, shift the internal environment to suit the plant.
The Ministry of Agriculture, through its Bottles Research Station, has been helping farmers with the use of this technology to have better yields on their crops. And a useful technology it is. The material used is a protective mesh that can keep out the smallest of insects, such as aphids, also called plant lice. These small sap-sucking insects are destructive pests to cultivated plants.
In keeping out aphids, we actually keep out viruses. And keeping out the other insects, we will do the same thing as keeping out viruses, as well as keeping out lepidopterans, which will come in and actually eat the leaves of the plant.
The double door feature is another way of controlling insects from getting inside. This is recommended for every greenhouse, and at no time should both doors be open. After entering through the first door, there should also be a foot bath with about 20% bleach solution or some other disinfectant that will help to get rid of unwanted pathogens off the shoes. So with the first door closed and foot washed, the second door can then be opened to the crop. Insects are not the only danger to plants. Climate conditions also pose a risk. So plants in most greenhouses are grown in a controlled temperature environment. This is adjusted with the aid of shade screens. These retractable screens block out excess sunlight or let in more as the need arises. The shade screens can also be programmed in automated mode, and as the sensor detects the temperature inside the house, the screen will automatically open. Plants grown through protected agriculture are also kept at a moderate temperature by airflow fans, which help with the circulation of air around the greenhouse. The irrigation process is another important area of protected agriculture.
The irrigation system that we use is actually a drip irrigation system. We do not do overhead irrigation inside the greenhouse because we do not want the leaves to get wet. When leaves become wet, you can actually have fungus growing on the leaves of the plant and then destroying the entire crop.
All this is monitored through a timer system that allows for manipulation of the entire nutrient feeding process.
This system now allows for mixing of the fertilizer, which is in these two tanks. So different elements are combined to feed the plants. The irrigation water comes here, and the injectors pick up the fertilizer, mix it along the line, and then combines it. At the end of the mixing process, it is sent to the plants.
Now, in the protected agriculture environment, if farmers manage their crops well, the yield and quality will be much better, and the result, less spoilage and more revenue.
The main reason is that the farmer controls the environment and controls the fertilizer that is going towards the plant. And there is no pressure from weeds utilizing the nutrients from the soil as opposed to the plants.
So if you are considering going into agriculture or you are already in the field, here are a few benefits of protected agriculture to consider. It gives good production when compared to normal farming. Humidity can be controlled, thus eliminating the breeding of pests. Crops can be grown throughout the year, and the greenhouse gives protection to plants against weather conditions that can damage or influence growth. For further information, you may contact the Bonos Research Station of the Ministry of Agriculture at 983-2281 or 983-2267.
Out of curiosity.
I had a strong desire to do my own thing when I was small.
You know, everyone was doing it.
I wanted to know.
I did what I had to do to get it. I decided to come out the block and start living in the cemetery.
Because I was smoking 15 or 20 gram coke every day, mixed with heroin and marijuana.
I was always a follower. I think that was my biggest mistake.
I met this nurse, and she looked at me, tell me, you know, there's a place where we can help you. Made me an appointment for a rehab center for an interview. 2004, I went on my knee.
Because I started to see something spiritual start happening in my life. Something like what a dream of happening.
You have to start helping yourself.
I tell you, if it could work for me, it could work for the devil here. Because I wasn't the easy person.
I seek help. I'm getting the world of help.
The message that smoking is bad for you is an old one, so not everyone gives it their full attention. But it's important to take note, because each year smoking causes the deaths of millions worldwide. When you smoke, you're more exposed to getting various cancers, cardiovascular diseases, hypertension, asthma, and a host of other ailments. We put together this feature highlighting the dangers of smoking. Take a look.
We'll always have Paris.
A famous line from a famous movie. Casablanca became a classic film partly because of scenes like that one, depicting Bogart as the strong, handsome, romantic lead, rarely without a cigarette in hand. But a lot has changed since the movie's release in 1942. Billions of dollars have been spent worldwide trying to convince people that smoking is not cool, that it could send you to an early grave. Still, with all the anti-tobacco campaigns, the no smoking please, the bans on smoking in public spaces, the incidence of smoking-related illnesses that are on the increase, more people are dying. It's right there on the box, written in bold. Smoking can be dangerous to your health. But smokers keep on puffing, some several times a day.
Doctors, policymakers, and even manufacturers of cigarettes tell us all the time, smoking is damaging to one's health. So why are people still lighting up?
It is true, definitely. Smoking is extremely harmful to health. It is a major cause of illness, disability, and death. It is said that half the persons who smoke on a long-term basis will end up dying from a smoking-related disease. But why do they smoke? Because of the addictiveness of the nicotine in the tobacco, which is used to make the cigarette and the other tobacco products.
Scientists say smoking inhaled from a cigarette contains 40 to 50 substances clinically proven to cause cancer.
Lung cancer is the #1 smoking-related cancer, and would be extrapolated to be #1 cause of death from smoking. But smoking does not only relate to cancer. Smoking also contributes to a whole host of other diseases, such as heart disease, heart attacks, diabetes, hypertension, strokes. All those diseases are adversely affected by smoking.
Say, for instance, I'm at a bus stop and you have persons around me smoking. Am I affected?
You may be affected. That's very transient, however, and very short term. So the effect is dose related. So if you have a small dose, the impact on your body, on your health, will be in proportion to the dose that you get. But once you're exposed to tobacco smoke, usually in the form of cigarette smoke, you will have an increased risk of getting some kind of health-related problem.
Treating smoking-related illnesses like lung cancer is expensive. The Ministry of Health says it's putting additional pressure on meager resources. Smokers are often admitted to hospital for illnesses such as pneumonia, asthma, and other breathing disorders.
So in light of all this, what's the Ministry of Health doing to address the problem?
The ministry has plans to bring into being this year a smoke-free environment legislation. Our Minister of Health is very much committed to this, and he would like to ban smoking in public places, enclosed spaces, and in spaces where persons gather for sporting or recreational activities.
What would you say to youngsters, adults, or even co-workers who still insist on lighting up even though they have all this information?
We would really like persons to consider the adverse effect that this habit has on them and on their loved ones, and to cease the habit.
Medical experts say if you smoke, you are likely to have a shorter lifespan than a non-smoker, 15 to 20 years less. So let's clear the air, quit the habit, so you can live a longer, healthier life.
Research has indicated that teens whose parents talk to them regularly about the use of drugs are less likely to use these substances than those whose parents do not talk with them. So keep the conversation going. And on that note, we have come to the end of today's show. But don't forget to visit our website, jis.gov.jm, for more updates. We value your feedback and ask that you send your comments to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or a tweet at JIS News. Join us again tomorrow, same time, same station. On behalf of the production crew, I'm Carrie Ann Smith. Take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.